Lesson 11. Get out of there and fail. Failure is the only opportunity to get more and more intelligently begin again. Henry Ford. She couldn't pay her credit card bills for 26 years. She moved 25 times looking for work. She was fired 18 times. She worked for 26 years before she earned an annual salary of $22,000. She occasionally lived on a food stamp and slept in her car. You're probably thinking, if this is a book about success, why are you droning on about women who had so many failures? I tell you why. The failure described about the well-known TV talk show host Sally Jessy Raphael. You see, despite of all her setbacks, she refused to give up her childhood dream of career in broadcasting. She was willing to keep failing and failing until she was succeeded. Sally Jessy Raphael earned millions of dollars and enjoyed a lot and successful TV career, all because she kept a great attitude despite of years of failures. In the beginning, how is it that someone like Sally Jessy Raphael can endure 26 years of failure and keep going? If you look back to your own childhood, I think you'll see that you too demonstrated tremendous resilience in the face of repeated failures. Remember, when you were learned how to ride a bicycle, you probably began with the training wheels. Eventually, when these crutches were moved, keeping your balance became more and more difficult. You were struggled to stay upright, maybe even falling few times and scraping yourself. You were learning an important early lesson about failure. As you practiced, it's likely that one of your parents walked side of you shouting instruction, encouraging you and catching you as you lost the balance. You were scared but excited. You looked forward to when you would succeed, when you would at last ride free on your own. So you kept at it every day and eventually mastered the skill of riding a bike. What contributed to your ultimate success in learning how to ride a bike? Well, persistence and sheer repetition. Certainly. You were going to stick with no matter how long it also helped you that you were enthusiastic about what you set to achieve and that you could hardly wait to reach your goal. And finally, let us not underestimate the impact of positive encouragement. You always knew your parents were in corner supporting you, rooting for your success. As a 6-year-old learning to ride your bike, you were optimistic, thrilled, and eager to meet the challenge. You couldn't wait to try again. You knew you'd mastered it eventually. But that was a long time ago. Yesterday and today. Now let's examine how most adults approach the development of new skills. Would you say they're optimistic, thrilled, and eager to meet the challenge? We both know the answer. That is, the question is no. Let's assume we asked a group of adults to learn a new software program or to switch another position in the company. How would they must respond? They'd try to avoid it. They'd complain. They'd make excuses why they shouldn't have to do it. They'd doubt their abilities. They'd be afraid. What happened to that 6-year-old brimming with vitality and sense of adventure? How did that child turn into an adult moaning and groaning about learning something new? As adults, most of us become a lot more concerned about the opinions of often hesitating because people may laugh at our or criticize us. At the age of 6, we knew we had to fall off the bike and get back to learn a new skill. Falling off the bike wasn't a bad thing, but as we grew older, we started to perceive falling off as bad thing rather than an essential part of the process of achieving goal on 10. As I pointed out, lesson 10, it can be uncomfortable to try something new, perhaps even scary. Success is going to failure without loss of enthusiasm by Winston Churchill. But if you take off your eyes off the goal and instead focus on your attention on how others may viewing you, you are doing yourself a great disservice. To develop a new skill or reach a meaningful target, you must be committed to do what it takes to get there, even if it means to putting up with the negative feedback or falling your face now and then. Successful people have learned to fail their way to success, while others, they may not particularly enjoy their failures. They recognize them as a necessary part of the road to victory. After all, becoming a proficient at any skill requires time, effort, discipline, and the willingness to persevere through whatever difficulties may arise. These failures make millions of dollars. Take the example of just a professional baseball player. As it is today, the player who gets just 3 hits in 10 attempts at the top of his profession, making several $1 million a year. That's 70% failure rate. And the fans will no doubt to taunt him where he strikes out. And speaking of baseball, there's nothing more exciting than watching a player hit a home run. During his illustration career, Hank Aaron hit 755 home runs. What you may not know that he's struck out 183 times in his career. That's right, Hank had almost twice as many strikeouts at home runs. Yet people remember Hank Aaron for the balls he hit over and not for the pitches he missed. The greatest mistake the person can make is to afraid of making one, by Elwood Hubbard. When I ask you to name the best basketball player of all time, who comes to your mind? I'm guessing that many of you immediately thought of Michael Jordan. He gets my vote. Let me share a statistic. Michael Jordan has a career of shooting percentage of 50%. In other words, half of the shoot he took in his career were failures. Of course, this principle isn't limited to sports. We also know that show business stars and media personalities are no strangers to failure. Many actors invest 10 or 15 years enduring hundreds of rejections before landing a part that launches their career. And then, even achieving some degrees of success, they'll still experience occasional box office flops. On the night he graduated from college, Jerry Seinfeld did his first comedy gig. It was a comedy club in New York City. He bombed. When he asked to describe that evening, Seinfeld said, "It was pretty horrible. It was a terrible sinking feeling." But he didn't quit. He kept performing his stand-up routine at night. He had 5 very tough years, and then he was invited to appear in the Tonight Show by Johnny Carson in 1981. He was a big hit and on his way to an incredibly successful career. In a nutshell, all these individuals realized that success to a large extent is a matter of persistence. That is why, if you keep trying to keep developing yourself and keep making adjustment along the way, you're going to succeed. You simply need to get enough at-bats, go on enough directions, auditions, visit enough potential clients, undaunted by failure. I want to tell you about 2 guys who wrote a book containing collection of inspirational stories. They figured it would take about 3 months to make a deal with publisher. The first publisher approached them, said no. The second publisher said no. The third publisher said no. The 30th publisher said no. Having racked up with 33 rejection over a period of 3 years, what do you think they did? They submitted their book to another publisher. The 34th said yes. And that one yes, after 33 failures, is what launched the spectacular success of Chicken Soup for the Soul, written and compiled by Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen. If you've been a bookstore the last 15 years, I'll bet you've seen that book. There's a good chance that you've read one of the books in the Chicken Soup series. The Chicken Soup for the Soul series had sold over 100 million copies, all because Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen had the determination to fail over and over and keeping going until they succeed. What sustained Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen through their 33 failures? Their attitude. If these guys had negative attitude, they would have given up after the first second rejection, missing out on a pot of gold, but their attitude remained positive and upbeat, failure after failure after failure. What's good attitude worth? In their case, about tens of millions of dollars and still counting. No overnight success. Another example of person who endured years of failure is movie star Harrison Ford. In the mid of 1960s, Ford sought acting jobs. He had little early success of when he was told by the film executive that he lacked star quality. When Ford had trouble supporting his family, he gave up acting and worked as a carpenter. He was introduced to George Lucas, who gave him a part in the 1973 movie American Graffiti. A few years later, Lucas cast him as a Han Solo in Star Wars, and Ford was his way to superstardom. So when you get right down to it, there is no such thing to failure. There are only the results, some more successful than others. Failure does not mean that you reached at the end of the line, that success is impossible. The only time success is more impossible is when you quit. Quitting is final, but committed attempts and continuing attempts with commitment and diligence can be turned into success. Never give up. In the early 1990s, the owner of a Midwestern company called our office to inquire about my speaking programs as well as our products and publications. I spoke with him on a phone call and promptly sent our information. When we called to follow up, he'd say that he was thinking about it, hadn't made a decision yet. Success seems to be largely a matter of hanging at others have let go. William Feather. At the beginning, we called every week, no sale. Then we called once a month. No sale for a period of years. We kept calling this gentleman. We had kept sending him quarterly newsletters and flyers. And all we had to show him to show for it was one failure after another. But in the spring of 1988, a representative of his company called our office and I was hired up to present a motivational program at one of their sales meetings. When I met the owner in the person, he told me, "I was impressed with your persistence. Some from your office kept calling me for years and didn't give up." Sure, we put with years of failures, but it was all worth it when made that sale. Key questions. If you aren't getting the results you want to have been discouraged by failures, ask yourself these questions. Do I have unrealistic timetable? Maybe you accept to skip steps and succeed on a grand scale immediately. Success is usually shaped by climbing one step at a time, and you don't know how long it will take to advance to the next level. So be patient with yourself and resist the temptation to compare your progress with that of anyone else. You'll advance faster and take some slower than others. Maintain a great attitude, take action and make adjustments, and the result will come. Am I truly committed? Do you have a burning desire to achieve your goal? It's essential that you be willing to do whatever it takes and you banish any thought of giving up before you accomplish your objective. Of course, it's much easier to be committed when you love what you're doing. Therefore, go after those goals and you're passionate about it and harbor no thought of quitting. Do I have too many discouraging influences? Unsuccessful results can be frustrating. That's why we need to surround ourselves with people who support and believe in us. If you hang around with negative people who are highly critical or those who are doing very little in their own lives, your energy and enthusiasm will drain. Therefore, develop a network of individuals to encourage and coach you towards success. Am I preparing to succeed? Success is an endeavor it requires throughout the preparation. Are you taking steps to learn everything you can about accomplishing your goal? This means reading books, taking courses, and networking with highly successful people in your field. It might mean finding a mentor or getting a coach to work with you. Successful individuals are always sharpening their skills. Those getting unsuccessful outcomes often do the same over and over without making necessary adjustments. So be coachable. Accept the fact that you don't already know it all and find resources to keep you on track and moving forward. Am I truly willing to fail? Face it, failure is inevitable. You will encounter defeat prior to succeeding. In our heart, we know most valuable lesson comes from our failure. Failure is essential for growth. Look failure squarely in the face and see it's a natural part of the success process. Then failure will lose its power over you. The truth is, when you are not afraid to fail, you are well on the way to success. Welcome failure as an unavoidable yet vital component in the quest to achieve your goals. Would you like me to give a formula of success? It's quite simple. Double your rate of failure, by Thomas J. Watson. Turning your failures into success. Your failures are learning new experiences that point out adjustments you must make. Never try to hide from failure, for that approach guarantees that you will take virtually no risks and achieve very little. As Beverly Sills once remarked, you may be disappointed if you fail, but you are doomed if you don't try. No, you won't close every sale, and you won't make money in every investment. Life is a series of wins and losers, even for the most successful. The winners in life know that you crawl before you walk and you walk before you run. And with each new goal comes a new set of failures. It's up to you whether you treat those disappointments as temporary setbacks and challenges to overcome or insurmountable obstacles. If you make it your business to learn from every defeat and stay focused on the end of the result you wish to attain, failure will eventually lead to you to success.
Networking that gets result. You can get everything in life you want if you'll just help enough other people to get what they want by Zig Ziglar. When I met freelancer copywriter Stu Kamen in the fall of 1990, it set off an incredible chain reaction that would have forever impacted my business. Let me share with that what happened. In 1992, Stu was contributing the writer Think and Grow Rich New Settler. At Stu's suggestion, that New Settler ran a front page story about me and how I went from being a lawyer to a motivational speaker. At the same time, I entered into the agreement with the New Settlers and they would sell my Attitude is Everything merchandise through their publications. Thousands of items were sold. Think and Grow Rich New Settler are also began to run some of my own articles in their publications. As a result, I got calls from their readers and was hired several speaking engagements. I also got a letter from one of their subscribers named Jim Donovan, who lived in New York at the same time. We became good friends. Jim referred to me to publishers and other resources in publishing industry. By the way, Jim went on to write several great self-help books of his own, including Handbook to a Happier Life and This Is Your Life, Not a Rest Rehearsal. And all of these great things happened to be me because I tapped into Stu Kamen's networks. And then Think and Grow Rich New Settlers Network, and then Jim Donovan's network. The power of networking is nothing short of awesome. If given the choice, wouldn't you like to succeed sooner rather than later? Well, networking is the way to leverage your own efforts and accelerate the pace at which you are getting results. After all, the more solid relationships you build, the greater your opportunities for success. If you're positive, enthusiastic, people will want to spend more time with you. By Jeff Keller. Benefits of networking. While your success certainly starts with you, it grows to higher levels as a result of your associations and relationship with people. Simply put, you can't succeed on a grand scale all by yourself. That's why networking is so important for the purpose of this lesson. Let's define that networking as the development of relationship with people for mutual benefit. In the business arena, networking has the following benefit. First, generates new client or business leads. Second, increases employment opportunities. Third, helps in finding the right people to fill the critical positions. Fourth, provides valuable information and resources. Fifth, assists in solving problems. In personal realm, here's what networking can do for you. First, enhance your social relationship by introducing you to new friends. Second, help you to become acquainted with people of varying ethnic, culture, and philosophical background. Third, provide valuable information and resources. Fourth, contribute to your spiritual growth. Now that we know that networking can for us, the question is, what can we do to enhance the effectiveness of our network? Let me pass along with 16 techniques that I've found productive to simplify the matter. I've organized them into 4 separate but related categories. 1. Attitude and action. 2. Referrals. 3. Communication. And 4. Follow-up. Attitude and action. First, project a winning attitude. When it comes to a networking, attitude is everything. If you are positive and enthusiastic, people will want to spend time with you. They'll want to help you. If you're gloomy and negative, people will avoid you and they'll hesitate to refer to you their friends and colleagues. Second, participate actively in groups and organizations. Effective networking and relationship building takes more than paying dues, putting your name in a directory, or showing up for meetings. You must demonstrate that you will take up time and make effort to contribute to the group. What kind of things can you do? For starters, you can volunteer for committees as serve an official for a member of the board directors. The other members will respect you when they see you roll up your sleeves and do some work. They'll also learn about your people skills, your character, and your values. At last, but not least, your attitude. Let's go back to Stu Kamen for a moment. He wanted to build a contact with the advertising agencies, so he joined the Long Island Advertising Club in 1994. Stu immediately began to attend the group's meeting when they asked for volunteers for various projects. Stu raised his hand. He got actively involved. Within 6 months after joining, somebody approached him and said, "We heard good thing about you. You are a hard worker and very energetic. Would you like to join our board of directors?" As you might guess, Stu gladly accepted. And within a few months, he began to see a significant increase in his business. In early 1999, Stu told that well over 50% of his current business can be traced to people he met through the Long Island Advertising Club, proving that people can get big results in a short time by networking efficiently and effectively. Serve others in your network. Serving others is crucial to building and benefiting from your network. You should always thinking, how can I serve others instead of what's in it for me? If you come across as deprivative or as a taker rather than a giver, if you won't find people willing to help you, going them extra the mile for others is the best way to get the flow of good things coming back to you. Getters don't get, givers get. Eugene Bench. How can you serve others in your network? Start by referring business leads or potential customers. In addition, whenever you see an article or other information that might be interest to someone in your network, forward the material to that person. When I think of effective networkers, the first name comes into mind is Mark LeBlanc. Mark gives presentations to business owners who want to grow their business and to salespeople who want to sell more and more of their products and services. I've referred many people to Mark. Why? He's a talented, service oriented person who has gone out of his way to encourage me and help me build my business. Mark has put me in touch with people as his own network who are in position to help me. He distributes many of materials at his presentations. Mark is one of those people who just keeps giving and giving and giving. That's why people want to help Mark. That's one reason why his own business is growing. As the Bible says, give and it shall be given unto you. That's the truth. Referrals. Fourth, if you're referring to someone, make sure that the person mentions your name as the source of the referral. Be explicit. Let us assume you're about to refer John Smith to your graphic designer Jane Johns. You might say, John, give Jane a call and please tell her that I referred you. In some instances, you may even call Jane and let her know that John Smith will be contacting her. Then the next time you speak with Jane, remember to ask if John called and how he turned to you. You want to reinforce in Jane's mind that you are looking out for her and helping her to grow her business. Be selective. Don't refer every person you meet. Respect the time of those in your networks. Referring unqualified leads will reflect poorly on you. Ask yourself whether it's not a particular referral, it's going to really be the value of your network partner. Keep in mind that the key is the quality, not quantity, of the leadership you supply. Communication. Sixth, be a good listener. Have you ever been speaking to someone who goes on about himself and his business and never takes a moment to ask about you? Well, all run into you, the me types, and they're the last people you want to help. So, in your conversation and focus on drawing other people out, let them talk about their careers and interests. In return, you will be perceived as caring, concerned, and intelligent. You will eventually get your turn to talk about yourself. Share this Dale Carnegie 101, but it works. 7th, call people from time to time just because you care. How do you feel when someone calls you on the phone and says, "Hey, I was just thinking about you and was wondering how you're doing"? I'll bet you feel like $1,000,000. If that's the case, why don't we make these calls more often? You can succeed best quickest by helping others to succeed by Napoleon Hill. Every now and then, make it a point to call people in your network and simplify how to ask how they're doing and to offer your support, and because that support and encouragement. That's right, call just because you care and because that's the way you pick up to be like treated. Every December, I pick the phone and call certain clients I haven't spoke with a long time. Many of these people haven't ordered anything from my company in years. My call is upbeat and my only agenda is to be friendly. I don't try to sell them anything. I appreciate business they've given me in the past. I just want to hear how they're doing personally and professionally. If business comes from these calls, that's great. If business doesn't comes from these calls, that's great. Year after year, I do get my business as a result of making these calls. Someone will say, I need to order more and more of Attitude is Everything lapel paints, or our company is having a sales meeting in 6 months and they may want you to do a presentation. Please understand that isn't manipulation in a soils or tactic manners on my part. I'm not expecting these people to give me business. I really care about how they're doing business is simply by a byproduct of reconnecting with them. Take advantage of everybody everyday opportunities to meet people. You can make excellent contacts with just about anywhere at the health club or line at supermarket. You never know from what seed your next valuable relationship will sprout. When I go to the gym or for a walk, I offer where attitude is everything should. It's a great icebreaker and people will come up to me about talk is attitude. It gives me an opportunity to learn about them and to tell about my company. Treat every person as important, not just the influential ones. Don't be snob. The person you meet, whether or not their boss, may have a friend or relative who can benefit from your product or service. So, when speaking to someone at the meeting or party, give that person your undivided attention. And please promise me that you won't be the one of those who gazes around looking for more important people to talk to. That really bugs me. You're talking with someone and then he notices someone out of the corner of his eye, someone he deems more important than you, so he stops listening to you and abruptly breaks a survey to start a conversation that the other people. Don't do that. Treat every person you encounter with dignity and respect. 10th, at meeting and seminars, make it a point to meet different peoples. Don't sit with the same group at every gathering. While it's great to talk with friends and for part of the meeting, you'll reap a greater benefit if you make the extra effort to meet new faces. In 1994, I was in Washington, D.C. to attend an annual convention of the National Speaker Association. At lunch, instead of sitting with some of friends, I sat down at a table where I didn't know anyone. Sitting at that table was a woman where I named Joan Burge, and we struck up a conversation. Her company, Office Dynamics, conducts excellent training and programming for administrative office professionals. It turned out that Joan is also a big believer that attitude is everything, and nearly 20 years later, she still orders my Attitude is Everything lapel pens and distributes them to some of the participants in her training programs. In addition, Joan often displays my literature as her program, which has generated thousands of dollars in a business for me. Most importantly, Joan has become a wonderful friend. I'm sure glad I didn't sit with my friends that day, as I would have missed out a tremendous opportunity. Be willing to 11th, be willing to go beyond of your comfort zone. For instance, if you might have urged to introduce yourself to someone, do it. You might have hesitating, thinking that the person is too important or too busy to speak with you. Even if you are nervous, focus yourself to move forward and make it contact. You will get more comfortable as time goes on. Ask for what you want. By helping others, you've now earned the right to request assisting you. Don't be shy. As long as you have done your best to serve those in your network, you're more than willing to return the favor. Follow up. Send a prompt note after the meeting someone for the first time. Let's say you attend a dinner and make a new contact. Send a short note soon as possible explaining how much you enjoyed the meeting and taking up with him or her. Enclose some of your own material and perhaps include information that might be of interest to certain persons, such as the name of trade magazine and a subscription card. Ask if there's anything you can do to assist this individual. Treat every person you encounter with dignity and respect. Be sure to send this note within 48 hours your initial meeting that it's received while you are sitting in your fresh contact's mind. 14th, acknowledge powerful presentation or articles. If you hear an interesting presentation or great article, send a note to the speaker or writer and tell him how much or how enjoyed to learn from their message. One person in 100 will take the time to do this. Be the one who does. I'm not saying that speakers and writers are special people who deserve to be worshipped. The point is that speakers and writers often have developed a huge network of people covering a variety of industries, a network you can tap into. When you always receive a referral or helpful written materials, always send a thank you note or call to express your appreciation. Follow the suggestion only if you want to receive more and more referrals and more useful information. If you don't acknowledge that person sufficiently, he or she will be much less likely to assist you in the future. 16. Send congratulatory cards and letters. If someone in your network gets a promotion, award, or celebrate, or some other occasion, for example, a marriage or a birth of a child, write a short note of congratulations. Everyone loves to be recognized, yet very few people take the time to do this. Being a thoughtful in this manner can only make you stand out. It's also appreciated to send a card or memorial gift when a family member dies. Building your network. The networking suggestions offered above are merely the tip of the iceberg. You should be able to come up with several new ideas of your own. How? By going to your library, your bookstore, and seeking out many excellent books on the networking, and by noticing what other people are doing and adapting their ideas in the way that suits you. Remember that networks aren't built over a time and that significant results usually don't show up immediately. So be patient. Build a strong foundation of your relationship and continue to expand and strengthen them. You will have to put in a lot of way before you begin reaping the big rewards. One final point. Great networking skills are not substitute for being excellent in your field. You might have terrific PR present person, but improve if you are talented at what you do and constantly learning and improving, your efforts will yield disappointing results. Now, go ahead and select a few of these networking techniques and implement them right away. Get to work serving and improving your network, then you'll truly have an army of troops working to help you succeed.